is there any hope for sedans like the Toyota Camry in this SUV-crazed world? I like to think that there is, but I'll tell you what, modern SUVs or current SUVs are getting so good that it's becoming harder and harder to make a case for mid-sized sedans. So is the Camry enough anymore? Well, let's find out. What's going on, everyone? Jax here, and today I am with the 2022 Toyota Camry XSE all-wheel drive with a 2.5-liter four-cylinder. Did you get all that? Because that's what we got. So in four-cylinder trim, you've got 205 horsepower and 185 pound-feet of torque running through a 8-speed automatic and hitting the pavement via all-wheel drive. And I'm gonna say something that kind of goes against my nature a little bit. I think that's fine for this car. Yes, I know that you can get a V6, and the Camry Hybrid honestly makes more sense. I reviewed the XSE Hybrid a little while back, link in the description for that video, and I sort of said that I thought that was kind of like the perfect Camry, to be honest with you. It had all the XSE's good looks with sort of the hybrid efficiency. This one's a little more rewarding to drive, I think, and so that one might be kind of peak Camry, for lack of a better way of putting it, but I think this one is just a little bit more rewarding to drive without giving you kind of the ridiculousness of the V6. Now, don't get me wrong, I think that V6 is kind of a riot in this particular car, but you don't need it, nor does the Camry's kind of setup warrant such power delivery. What I mean is that on the window sticker on the build sheet, this thing says, you know, it's an XSE and it has a sport-tuned suspension. No, it's not sport-tuned in the sense that it feels like firm and sporty. However, that's not a knock because it feels great. Like, it's super comfortable. In fact, if anything, weirdly, I kind of think this is like sort of the benchmark of how the Camry should handle. It's comfortable, it's compliant, the body doesn't lose composure, it's buttoned down enough that it feels in control. It doesn't get wallowy and soft. And I think that's great. I think that's kind of the perfection point for the Camry. In fact, we're about to go down the handling road and I'll kind of show you what I mean, because we're just gonna kind of cruise over some of the terrible pockmarked pavement, especially at the beginning, and it's gonna just soak it right up and give me very little sort of reverberations through the chassis or the cabin. But it's not giving you kind of the sporty firmness of a true sports sedan or even something like a Honda Accord. It's definitely erring on the side of plush, and that's okay. So right here is where we hit the first kind of like dips, and I'm super comfortable. Like, you can see from like the lack of head toss and kind of movement that the Camry's just soaking this stuff up. There's a dead thing in the road, so I'm gonna kind of come in on the sharp corner a little bit here. I do think that the body roll's a little bit better controlled in XSE trim than it is in other levels of the Camry, so there is that. But in general, I mean, this is a pretty terrible road, and this thing is just gliding over it. I mean, I got no complaints with the way this thing rides. If you're getting into a Camry, you know what you're getting into, and I'm fine with that. I think the Camry's doing a great job. Also, I sometimes complain with some Toyota and Lexus products that there's too much secondary motion after the big bump right there, and there's really not in this car. It controls that secondary motion. It's not as firm on initial hit as something like an Accord, but it doesn't lose control on the secondary motion, on the rebound. And that's where I feel like some of the softer Toyota and Lexus products kind of lose their composure a little bit, and they get a little too up and down on the rebound from a hit. So this thing is great. XSE trim is where it's at. I absolutely love the way this thing is as a daily driver. Now, something else I love about this car, and I have to be honest, this is like the best looking Camry color combo I've ever seen. This color red combined with the black accents, with the black roof, the black wheels, the black mirrors. I mean, this thing just looks the business. I love the way this Camry looks. It's like just ridiculous enough to be fun without being like ugly. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just great. This thing is so kind of handsome. The red is like just deep enough that it's not like trying to be a sports car. The black accents give it that kind of like aggressive kind of look going on. The black wheels kind of complement it. I really dig the way this Camry looks. Very good looking car in this combo. Also, I don't know if Toyota's been refining this over the model years, but this also is the best driving Camry in terms of brake pedal feel. Oh my God, what an improvement in Toyota brake pedal feel the past couple years. This thing's brakes are fantastic compared to previous Toyota iterations, especially Camrys, where they would be overly grabby, especially as you were coming up to a stop. The brake pedal feels firm enough for its, you know, family sedan duties. Coming to a stop, it's nice and progressive and stops naturally. Like, it's just a complete night and day difference from how it used to be. Throttle pedal, the way the accelerator pedal, you know, works, tips in, is fine. I don't think you would notice it if you were a regular driver. Enthusiast dad here, you know, no complaints about the throttle. Steering is definitely good enough. I do like that the XSE, you have a little bit of a smaller wheel with kind of the 3 spokes. Feels, dare I say, a little Supra-ish, you know, but it definitely lends a little bit of sportiness to the cabin. The cabin is otherwise unchanged, and there's not much to write home about, except it's extremely roomy. The seats are comfy. I've got plenty of space. I can practically sit behind myself in this car, and that's saying something at 6'6". So this is a very functional vehicle. I also never noticed how large the front doors opened. I don't know why. I've had several Camrys. I just never noticed it until now, but man, they open wide. It's just so friendly and so easy and so approachable. And so that's kind of the thesis of this video. It's like, this is a very good sedan. It's got a lot going for it, but is it enough to sway people towards a sedan from an SUV? And this Camry is fully loaded. It's doing its best to kind of give me all of the options. It's $39,000. I've got heated and cooled seats, wireless charging, all of the safety features, heated steering wheel, a giant panoramic sunroof. I've got all the options you can want, decent leather in here, good materials. So it's trying to woo me from SUVs, but there are a few problems because the Camry's getting on in years. And the biggest #1 problem is that Toyota's infotainment remains highly functional. It connects to Bluetooth instantly, brings up your phone, very, very functional, very user-friendly, but man, it looks ancient now in 2022. It has a backup camera, of course, and it has a surround view camera, and the quality of the camera is just, it's laughable. I mean, it's laughable at this point how bad the camera quality is. It's got to get updated. It just looks terrible compared to sort of other cars. I mean, I've seen, you know, Mazda sort of does slow iterations over time, and their surround view camera, it's a little smaller because of where the screen is positioned, but it's crystal clear. This one, I mean, you're talking like Sega Genesis graphics, if that, more like Nintendo, the original. Also, the gauge cluster, a lot of cars in this price range are doing fancier gauge clusters, you know, with like more screen-based kind of digital, and the Camry still has these large analog gauges, which are kind of set very far apart, like to the edge of the wheel, and there's a central kind of screen, and the central screen looks great, nice and crystal clear, but the analog gauges they're just kind of like pointless. Like, you know, at this stage in 2022, I feel like with a digital dash, there should be some more customizability. So, I mean, you have some of those kind of anachronistic touches. There are still, you know, a lot of other sedans in this class that have analog gauges though, so I'm not going to beat it up about that. But personally, I still prefer the Accord. It just gives you a little bit more of that kind of sportiness. It has a little bit more of that solidity. The interior is just a little bit more kind of modernish. It's aged better, I feel. And so that would be what I would go with. The Kia K5 in certain trims, I think, is superior to the Camry, but not in all trims. I feel like if you're going kind of a little bit more of a base model, you're looking more for value, the Kia starts to feel real cheap inside, and the Camry doesn't quite scream cheapness in its lower trims, so that would be kind of a shootout. I think the Hyundai Sonata is hideous, so beyond that, I probably would take the Camry over most of the other vehicles in the class. I want to love the Mazda 6, but it's aging, man. It's aging. I still love it, but God, it's aging. Now, as far as SUVs are concerned, let's talk about that for 2 seconds. I just had a Mazda CX-5 Signature in the driveway, and here is the problem. This Camry costs $39,000. That Mazda CX-5 costs $40,000. So you get a slightly more useful vehicle. Doesn't have quite the interior space as the Camry, but you get that sport utility, you know, cargo carrying capability. But more importantly, you get Mazda's Turbo 4 that makes 310 pound-feet of torque. And the Mazda drives as well as the Camry, even though it's an SUV, because of that Mazda magic. And so it starts to become real hard to rationalize a mid-size sedan, even one as good as this. I mean, this is a great daily driver. I have enjoyed driving this every day. There's absolutely nothing wrong with this car, but that CX-5 gives you all of the same options, all of the same amenities, a nicer interior, more stylish interior too, beautiful exterior styling for an SUV. It is dynamically the best handling SUV in its class, and it gives you that more powerful engine. So unfortunately, guys, as an enthusiast dad, if I'm shopping for a car and I have family needs to consider, and I might be leaning towards SUV, but my heart is still saying, no, don't do it, get a mid-size sedan. I really think now there's only one that can stand up to a sort of similarly priced SUV alternative. And you probably already guessed what I'm going to say, the Honda Accord. It's gonna give you more interior space than the CX-5, a pretty huge trunk, an interior that's as nice, and performance that rivals the CX-5, and fully loaded is gonna come in at around the same price. The Accord's the only thing I would consider, as opposed to something like the CX-5. Now, you could argue that the CX-5's passenger space is noticeably tighter than this, and you would be right, because it is sort of a small to mid-size SUV, and this is a full mid-size sedan. But based on its performance and its cargo carrying capability, and the fact that I can squeeze my tall family into one, I mean, my oldest is 6'1", but I can squeeze her in the back and move the seat up a little, it's really hard to choose a mid-size sedan. Well, guys, I would love to know what you think. Let me know down below, are you still willing to take a mid-size sedan over a, let's say, performance-oriented SUV? I'm thinking something like the CX-5, or, you know, the Honda CR-V rides and handles great, but I don't love the way it looks. I mean, it's more practical than the CX-5, but CX-5 is far superior in sort of dynamics. Are you willing to still go mid-size sedan? Personally, I would still be willing to go mid-size sedan, but it would be a Honda Accord. This is a great mid-size sedan. It's fuel efficient, it's fast enough, it's nice inside, I've got all the features, but I just don't think I could make a case for it because it doesn't have that extra something, and that CX-5's got that punchy engine. I'd love to hear what you think. Comment down below, share this video, like and subscribe if you found it useful or you found me entertaining. If you didn't find me entertaining, make sure to press the like button 3 times. That's the signal for not entertaining. And until next time, ride safe, drive safe, and I will see you in the next video. All right? Peace. Man, I'm glad I'm not shooting at this part of the park. Oh my gosh. All the baseball happening today. Whew. Yeah, let's get out of here. I didn't know they redesigned the Chevy Traverse's front end. When did that happen? It's less ugly now.